I'm starting to stream. Wait. Why is it saying? Okay, of course, there's always got to be a problem, right? It can never be.
Never going smooth.
Hey, it never goes smooth. Never goes smooth. Do me a favor, just go onto YouTube and see if you can see the live feed there. For me, please. As usual, we're always just ironing out one or two little hiccups.
Yeah.
I just want to.
I can see the Weekend Craic episode 2 that you streamed 10 minutes ago.
10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
There should be another one. Anyway, let me get the Instagram thing going again.
Let me check Instagram.
No, it won't be running there. Just check YouTube. YouTube is the only one that should be live at the moment.
Oh, dude, don't see anything.
Okay, I'll give it a check now.
I can see live now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see we're live now.
Yeah, well then that's
There's some
it.
background of the river and.
Well, it's actually that's Hart Bay, by the way.
Serious? Wow, that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Amazing view.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, good. I just want to try and get the. What's going on here? I want to go to settings. I want to go to stream. I want to go there. Say there. Delete. Say paste. Just check that everything is fine here. That is it. That's the stream key. I'm going to say apply. Okay. And I'm going to say start streaming. Okay. It seems like. Do me a favor while I go and sort out my coffee. Don't you want to just check on the Instagram live if it's going? Well, actually, I need to check the settings. So,
Bearded Fen. Is it the Bearded Fen or the Bearded Fen podcast?
Bearded Fen podcast.
Okay.
It says I'm live. It says I'm live. Okay. So what I want to do is I just want to sort out the sizes here. Right, there you go. Can you see on Instagram Live?
I can't see it on Instagram.
Are you trying on your computer?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can't find the Bearded Fen podcast?
No, I found the Bearded Fen podcast.
But then it should be at the top there of the screen. Unless are you doing it through the browser?
I'm doing it through the browser.
Yeah, you can't watch lives through the browser.
Okay, cool.
You can only do it on your phone. Okay, I'm just going to go sort that coffee out quickly. And then I'll be back. And then it's with the Weekend Craic version. I was going to say version 2. It's episode 2.
Episode 2.
I'll be back right now. Right, so I've got my coffee in my keep cup. I've just got to make sure that the branding is on the other side, you know.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't give you one when you were in Canada.
No. But I got my own.
Because I was going to ask you to get another one for me, but a black one. Yeah, I know. Yeah, flip every time. Every time you go on a live stream, you want to show your Niagara Falls mug.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, cool, man, cool. Okay, so we are live everywhere. So, I mean, any good show needs some intro music, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's got like a bit of an Irish theme going there, and that's just to remind everyone that the Weekend Craic is weekend news. Crack being a Irish word for news, or hey dude, what's happening? So, dude, what's happening?
Well, it's been a pretty cool week. Very good, very productive week.
Yeah.
I've sort of settled into the routine where it doesn't bug me anymore. So
what the national lockdown?
The national lockdown, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go out of the house, but maybe I'm some sort of agoraphobe now, so I wouldn't want to leave the place.
So what I decided, I thought that I would start today's live stream as a. Did you move? Because you were nicely centered and now you're not.
Okay, cool.
No, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I did move a little bit.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, no, I thought I would I would start off this morning's live stream like a business meeting.
Okay.
And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have a safety moment. Okay, basically we're going to talk about the national lockdown and Corona, and then we're going to ring fence that conversation and then move on to more important things. Because I think everyone's tired of listening and talking about the coronavirus and the lockdown, and so we just need a bit of distraction from that. Anyway, so okay, give us the lowdown. How's your week been under national lockdown?
You know what I found? The interesting thing, the week was fine. It's just I started following news less and less these days. You know,
Yeah.
It's like you feel like you're oversaturated. So the only thing that I was following our Department of Health Twitter account with just raw bare-bone stats in terms of what's going on in the country, and I was following just some Twitter accounts for like an idea of what's going around the world. I know the States are getting hit hard. I know UK is getting hit hard. I know things are sort of like beginning to show the signs of promise in Europe, like in France and Germany. China's sort of mostly through it. They're currently trying to contain the second wave of this virus. Mainly people coming back from abroad that were stuck abroad or couldn't travel. But on our side, things are looking good. Even BBC published a really positive article about our government's handling of the situation.
Yeah. So you were in self quarantine for like 2 weeks. So that ended last Sunday, right?
Yeah, but that's basically in isolation for the last 3 weeks now.
Yeah. So how are you dealing with it, dude?
Like I said, it's like I don't mind it. That's why I'm thinking I'm becoming agoraphobe. I don't want to leave the house. I have everything I need here.
Yeah.
As long as I have a stable internet connection, I can work.
Yes.
I have a beautiful garden. If I need to exercise, I can jump into the pool or just run around the house. It's big enough for me to actually get a solid workout in.
So like what happened with me was just before the lockdown, I went and I did my shopping and I got all my essentials and all that kind of stuff. And then I...
Did you get enough toilet paper and chloroquine?
Oh yeah, no, I had enough of that. I got in there before there was any shit. Excuse the pun. I got in there before there was any shit. Excuse the pun. So so I went and I bought my stuff and I thought, okay, cool, I'm going to be a good boy. I'm not going to go out. And I think it was this Thursday that I needed to go get some stuff from the shop. So I went out to the shop. Excuse me, and I realized I hadn't been out of the house for a week.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I haven't been out of my yard for a week. And it was like such a weird thing because like I had like a little bit of so what's the week been like? It's been like, it's been weird because it's like everything's like blurred into itself, like work and recreation. And I'm sitting here at my desk with my PC and I'm either working on my work laptop or I'm working on my, my machine. And then, I mean, this is where I am most of the time. It's either here, the shower, and the kitchen and the bed, kind of thing. Yeah. And there are a couple of things I realized this week that I had a bit of an unhealthy relationship with work. I had a couple of days where I wasn't taking breaks regularly enough. I wasn't. I was working late, spreading my work day over a 12 to 16 hour day, which is not the greatest. So I was starting to feel a bit jaded, But anyway, what surprised me when I went out to the supermarket was how many cars were out on the road, which surprised me. I would have thought that it would be a lot quieter. I think I mentioned to you during the week that before I hit the main road, I'd already passed 5 cars. By the time I got to the supermarket, I'd already passed 20 cars. Yep. And I mean, I live less than a kilometer away from the supermarket.
Damn, if you want to exercise, you could have...
But I should have just walked. In retrospect, I could have got a bit of exercise. And
well, maybe that's a plan for the next week.
That's actually a good point, because that's another thing I realized during the week is that I haven't really been doing... I have been doing some exercise, but I'm missing that routine of going to the gym early in the morning and climbing on the exercise bike and, bashing out 30 minutes on the bike.
So have you found something to replace it with at home or like?
Yeah, I've just been doing some sort of like, the usual, some sit-ups, some push-ups, tried a couple of pull-ups, that kind of shit, just to keep going. But I don't think I'm getting that like sort of cardio kind of result. Anyway, but it's fine. But yeah, I think it would be a good idea to walk to the supermarket next time.
Yeah, walk to the supermarkets. I mean, it's just a kilometer. It's good to actually do some walking.
Yeah. So, just let's leave the lockdown for now. What's the first thing you're going to do when the lockdown's over?
It's a good question. I haven't really thought about it. And I guess the reason why I haven't thought about it is that I wouldn't really do anything different. I might want to get out and just, go to the restaurants and have my favorites meal at the restaurants
So what restaurants are you going to go to?
I'm most likely going to try the pizza place in Melbourne, Ends Cafe, if they're still around.
Yeah. You love that place, don't you?
I love that place. I think they make amazing pizzas, and the atmosphere and the vibe there is really cool.
Yeah. Let me just check something quickly here.
And yourself, what's your?
Dude, I want to climb on my bike and just go ride somewhere, man. I almost thought that I must. Well, okay, let me tell you this. I had made some plans in my head that I was going to go down to Cape Town in April, and I was going to take my girls with me, and that obviously hasn't panned out because, we're on lockdown, but Lorraine said to me, why don't I just pack the kids in the car and drive down to Cape Town because we're on the lockdown for 3 weeks. You might as well just come and, And unfortunately, my parents, obviously they're in their 70s, and I would never want to compromise their health. So it wouldn't really have been a really good idea to go down to Cape Town because you'd be under lockdown. It's not as if you're going to be going to the beach. It's not as if you're going to be going and enjoying Cape Town wine farms, whatever the activities are that you would do. That's a bit of a was a bit of a bummer because I wanted to go down to Cape Town. So maybe maybe I'll go down to Cape Town after the lockdown. But the problem is the weather's going to be crap. At that time, it'll be probably be
entering winter, so it's
yeah,
gonna be
exactly,
raining and miserable and stuff.
exactly. Yeah,
But,
so
like,
yeah, that's a bit of a bummer.
coming to the next question, do you think the lockdown is going to be over after 21 days?
Hey, dude, we're not allowed to talk about the lockdown anymore.
Okay, but you just mentioned lockdown. And
No, well, I'm just saying after. I'm talking about after the lockdown.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the lockdown. Okay, no, but you asked the question, dude. I don't know. My feeling is that they might have to extend it because there's too much of an unknown about the actual numbers and all that. Because until you be testing people regularly and in a situation where it's not only because they're having symptoms, because they don't know that whether if it's contagious, even when you're not showing symptoms. And we had this conversation the other day about the Chinese not counting people that have the virus but don't show symptoms. They're not counting them as confirmed cases. So, I mean, that's a worrying fact. And then they themselves admit they don't know that when those people are testing positive for the virus but not showing symptoms, they don't know whether those people are contagious or not. So, I mean, that is a bit of a question. So,
I think from what I've seen, published in the media and what different medical experts said, there's a window where you could be not showing any symptoms, but you can still be contagious.
yeah, and I think that's the point.
The question is like, if you're not showing any symptoms and you are contagious, then like, how are you going to test for that? I mean, that means that you literally have to test everyone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the thing. And I mean, at what points are you happy that you've contained it? Because what stops it from flaring up again? Anyway, let's not go down the rabbit hole of this conversation.
I think you should still go down to Cape Town, just switching the topic. I think you should still go down to Cape Town, even in winter.
Yeah.
Once the lockdown is lifted, because I think it's going to be cool spending time with your parents.
Look,
back into normality, maybe going for some rides with Lorraine.
Yeah, it's like weather, dude. Weather. I'll just have to. Hopefully, that I pick when I.
You don't mind rain, do you?
No, I don't mind rain, but I mean, Cape Town's not the same when it's raining. I mean, there's nothing better than having a beautiful blue sky, windless day, and you cruising around Chapman's Peak, and I mean, it's just Simonstown, Cape Point. I mean, it's just there. You can't. I don't know. For people that don't ride bikes, they won't understand. For people that do ride bikes that never been to Cape Town, probably they won't understand. Anyway,
but they should come.
Yes, there's an open invite. If you want to come and ride with me and Lorraine, you're more than welcome. Cool. I think you make a good point. So I think when this is all over, I think I really need to do something that's going to take me away. I could actually, anyway, I wouldn't mind taking a trip overseas as well. Go visit some of my mates in the UK. Talking about that, do you have any like school friends that you're still in contact with?
Yeah, I do.
And where do they live? They're back in Ukraine, or they in other parts of the world?
Oh, they're all over the world. Some of them are in the US, some of them in Europe, some of them are like, because a lot of my former classmates ended up like in different countries.
Oh, right.
All over the world, like literally all over the world.
Okay. And I mean, like, how often do you stay in contact with them?
Basically, that's one on Facebook. Like, I would occasionally follow like what's going on, you know.
So, like, you're not like WhatsApping them?
No.
And like having video calls and all that?
No, I would do that with my family. So
oh, right.
I would do that with my family. I would try to WhatsApp call them like every once in 2 or 3 days.
Right. So I've got this good school friend of mine, Lester. I mean, I think we were in standard 9, so what, grade 11 when we first met, and we were thick as thieves in those days. Like seriously naughty boys. We were bunking school and whatever. I can tell you lots of stories. But so I had look, I mean, he lives in the UK. I did a podcast episode with him last weekend. And so we caught up and we stay in contact on WhatsApp. But we haven't really had a video call for quite a while. And so I said to him, hey, dude, don't you want to come on the podcast? Let's chat about what's happening in the UK. Tell me what, about the lockdown and all that. And he said, cool, he's keen for that. So we did that. And we did a 30-minute podcast conversation. And then after that, we just caught up just chatting about shit and all that. And he's a big Monty Python fan. And he used to love, doing the Monty Python skits and almost like, I was saying to him, imagine if TikTok and YouTube and all that were around when we were kids, when we were in high school. I said we would have had a fucking ball on TikTok because we used to do all these Monty Python things, but we just weren't videoing them. We were just, reciting lines out of some of the movies like Life of Brian and The Quest for the Holy Grail and all that. Anyway, so long story short, I said to him, I'm doing this live stream now every weekend, Weekend Craic, and I said to him that he is more than welcome to join on the episode whenever he's available. So, okay, I don't think he's going to be joining us today, but in the future we'll have Lester. So his nickname, we were talking earlier in the week about nicknames.
Yep.
And I was saying I've got a nickname for you, but you're not so happy with it because it's associated with some alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So like the challenge is, dude, we need to find a good nickname for you because I'm obviously the Bearded Fen. We need something for the Russian. The Russian. Yeah, well, we could call you just the Russian, or we could call you the Russian Bear, which is the one that I went with.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Lester's nickname back in the day when we were in school, he was King Algae, right? And I was Sir Methane. So he was the king and I was the knight.
Yeah.
And so those were our nicknames in school. And those have actually stuck, like when we're having a conversation, Lester and I, those nicknames are stuck. Anyway.
Yeah, it often happens.
Yeah, because he's and I'll get this right because the reason why we called him King Algae, well, the whole king and knight thing was probably from Monty Python and the Quest of the Holy Grail, and Algae came from his initials are LG Taus. Okay, so as it turns out, him and I have got the same second names, which is Graham. So I'm Andrew Graham, he's Lester Graham. And so anyway, so his nickname became LG, so we called him Algae. And then the Sir Methane came from, we were in biology class the one day and we were paging through the textbook. And there it came up was the definition for methane gas. And in brackets, it said marsh gas. So
Marsh gas.
Yeah, so that stuck like shit to a wool blanket. So so I became Sir Methane. Yeah. Anyway, so I've evolved into the Bearded Fen, right?
No stubble, just good music.
No stubble, just good music, or just let's say good conversation.
And good conversation.
Good conversation. Yeah. So talking about that, so Lester will join us, King Algae. I don't know, maybe we might have to get him a new nickname, a 2020 nickname. But what I wanted to ask you is, what are the things, going back to the lockdown, but not talking about the lockdown, but just talking about personal stuff. What are the things that you have noticed that you are like missing, or things that you can't do that you normally would do that you didn't think about when you were on national lockdown? You were going, okay, eventually the novelty will wear off, but like a couple of days into it, you go, oh shit, I can't do that, and I can't do that, and what's
so just some perspective, right? It's like it would be different for me than for a lot of other people because I travel a lot, right?
right?
I travel a lot, and sometimes when I travel for prolonged periods of time. and I do miss my place. So when I was entering this lockdown, I was thinking, like, you know what, it's going to be actually quite an awesome experience. Actually, spend some time, back at the house. Actually living at the house constantly. Yeah, for me, it's been great because, as I said, I travel a lot, so I spend a lot of time on the road, and uh, it's nice to actually enjoy your living space, and I do enjoy my living space. I think I have an awesome space.
Yeah. Is that the only thing? But like, I mean, when you're at your house, like, okay, let me tell you what I realized was that my beard is starting to get about a bit out of control.
Yeah.
My moustache is growing into my mouth. And so like when I'm eating so
I'm just picturing it.
so there's this app that my kids started using a couple of years ago, which is called House Party. Have you heard about it?
No, I haven't.
So anyway, it's like an app that they all their friends. It's like a virtual house party. So you go into the app and you can add your friends can join and all that kind of thing, and then they just hang together, but they're all in their respective houses, and they just have a house party. So it looks like, so my kids were using that for a while, but then WhatsApp came along and WhatsApp video and all those features in WhatsApp, and the fact that you can add more than one person to a WhatsApp video call. So my kids haven't really been using a house party for a long time, but I see that it's had a bit of a resurgence now with the whole lockdown, and people are now signing up with on house party and all that kind of stuff. So during the week, Marco's now on house party, so he calls me up on house party, or he starts a party and then he invites me to join the party. So anyway, I join him, but now I'm busy eating, you see.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was eating. Oh yeah, I think I was eating chili con carne or something like that, but I was eating it out of bowl. And now I'm on the video call on house party. So now I can see myself. So like normally when I'm eating, I can't really see myself. And it doesn't really bother me that I've got some stuff on my beard because, I'll sort it out at the end of my eating session.
Leftovers for later.
Yeah, leftovers for later. So while I'm on this house party, I'm eating and I'm seeing like there's, sour cream on my, now I understand how uncomfortable it is for people to watch me eat a burger with my hands. So, I mean, that's the thing. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when I eat a burger, I eat it with a knife and fork.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, except if I'm at home alone.
See, I don't have that problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm not shaving the beard off. That I can tell you. I shaved my head this morning.
Okay, but do you trim it? Do you trim it yourself? I mean, how do you...
What, my beard?
Yeah.
No. I go to the barberette, man.
No, but you can't go to barberette.
No, not now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you have to trim it, like, would you DIY it? Would you ask your girls to, like...
Oh, well, I'm not seeing my girls at the moment either, so that's also another bleak thing. No, I'm gonna have to do some moustache maintenance myself today. I just hope I don't fuck it up.
So I'm reaching that stage where, like, I also need to go to, like, the hairdresser. Obviously can't go to the hairdresser.
Oh, is that why you're wearing the beanie all the time?
No. My hair's actually fine for the time being, but it's like it needs to be trimmed.
Yeah.
But luckily I have a pair of clippers, and I'll sort it out. Fatil will help me out. So
yeah. Or at least, at least you got someone to help you out. I mean, dude, I'm home alone. I'm home alone, so I don't have people.
That's what also like a big difference, because I'm not, at the house alone. It doesn't faze me as much,
Yeah, I don't mind being alone. It's just like you say. I mean, I don't have someone that can help me shave my back.
Yeah.
Don't take your shirt off. Well, this is the nice thing about being out in the house alone. I can run around naked and I don't have to worry about anything.
Traumatizing your neighbors.
Or my kids,
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's getting a bit chilly, dude. I don't know if you... yes, this week, man. And I think that's probably the bleakest thing about this week is that the weather outside has been a bit grey.
Yeah.
So you can't go outside and enjoy some sunshine, lie on the grass and look up at the sky and meditate or something like that. Have you been meditating?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't been meditating for like a long time.
Yeah.
But like our yoga sessions that I would generally do with Fatila and the lady that runs it basically took it online. So we're now doing it via Zoom, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because
that's great.
I have a like, you've been to my house.
Yeah.
I know the entrance hall. Basically, we moved everything out and it's clear space, so we can set up 2 mats. There's enough space for both of us.
Okay.
Set up one of the cell phones on the tripod, so we can see what's going on, and we hook it up to Bluetooth speakers, so we get the sound. So it works quite well.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's important. I've realized that if I'm not meditating, then it's a little bit more difficult to
just focus.
Focus or just like swap between different focus things, like focusing on work and then focusing on some personal stuff, and and also be able to take a break, to turn your mind off work and other stuff. Yeah. So there's a bit of a news item. Is this playing now? This is the news segment. Right, so the new episode of Money Heist is out.
Awesome.
I got a notification yesterday to say it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, we were having a discussion about Money Heist during the week. I don't know. Even though I watch it and I know the IMDb ratings are pretty high, I don't know. I've got to pull myself through that series, man.
You serious?
Yeah. So at least you and I can have a conversation about the series, because if I don't watch it, then we can't talk about it. But I don't know, dude. It just hasn't grabbed me by the short and curlies, man.
No, that TV show grabbed me my attention immediately. Like from the first season, I thought the first season was brilliant.
Look, the first season was good. I'll admit that. Second and third season, I don't know, dude. It's like,
I think second season was really good as well, because it was continued. It was almost like they've split it up in 2 seasons, but it's like one coherent story that actually goes through it. Sure. So yeah, I think it was good. I think the ending was excellent as well. I'm not sure what my feeling is about the third season. I just need to watch it until the end and then just think about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to the end and I
watched the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Until they went on break, and then or however episodes. And then,
yeah, I think they did 8 episodes and then they took a break. Yeah.
And now I have to watch the other 8.
Yes.
It's been pretty good. I think I need to see how they tie up.
Maybe what I must do is maybe I must watch season 3 again, and then start watching season 4.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work out what it is about that series that I don't like, and I don't know if it's the whole voice dubbing situation there. I was actually thinking this morning maybe if one could just listen to the Spanish version and just brush up on my Spanish, maybe it would be a bit more enjoyable.
No, obviously, if you're watching a TV show in the native language without dubbing, it's much better.
Much better, yeah.
Dubbing. But I think the dubbing for Money Heist is pretty good. I think it's really good quality.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't think the voices suit the people.
Possible.
Yeah.
But it's not like that far away, and it's not really bad quality. So
yeah.
You get the message and you get the flow of the storyline. So that's good.
Yeah, actually watched. Those movies, the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah.
So I watched those, and I watched the original Scandinavian ones, not the American one. Because I think they only did the one American one, and that was.
No. There are actually a few. There's one with Daniel Craig, and there's I think another 2.
No, look, there are 4 in total.
Yeah.
As I understand, there are the 3 original ones, which are the 3 Scandinavian ones, and then they did the first one. They made an American version with Daniel Craig.
there's another one. There's other one.
Yeah.
I'll tell you now. So there's a girl in Dragons with the Dragons Tattoo. That's the one with Daniel Craig, and there's a girl in the Spider's Web. That's also like a US version, right?
Oh, have they made that one? Because that's the fourth book. That's the fourth book.
That's 2018, November 2018. That's when it was released.
Okay. Was that also with Daniel Craig?
No. Different actors.
Oh, well, that's crazy, man. But is it the American one or is it a Scandinavian one?
It's American one.
Oh.
It's American one.
See, now there they fucked it up. Yeah.
So
because
Dragons Tattoo, 2011, right?
Yeah.
And the girl in the Spider's Web in 2018. Obviously, the Swedish ones are the girl with the dragon tattoo, the girl who played with fire, and the girl who kicked the hornet's nest. I think.
Yeah, because I mean, those are the first three books.
Yeah.
The Girl in the Spider's Web is the fourth book. Anyway, but the point is that this can.
Right?
Sorry.
Is that they like I think most of them except for the girl with the dragon tattoo are not dubbed, so you have to watch with the subtitles.
No, you don't have to watch the subtitles. That's the point that I wanted to make. Is that the Scandinavian ones, they did an English voiceover. Okay. They dubbed it. Yeah.
Because when I watched them, it was just subs.
No. Well, maybe you should have changed the language on the. What did you watch it on though?
I watched it on a computer.
Okay, so I watched it on DVD. So on DVD you could change the language.
Okay.
Right. So anyway, so the ones that you get at the DVD shop. Obviously, okay, so the English dubbing was pretty good. That one was pretty good because like the voices suited the people.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But anyway, it's just the way it is.
I have to agree with you. I think overall, Swedish production was really good.
Yeah.
In terms of how it was made, the acting and the flow of the story. It was slower than the American one because I think American one's more action packed to keep the audience attention. But the Swedish trilogy was really enjoyable. I would give it like a 9 or an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. I couldn't bring myself to watch the American version of the
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo wasn't that bad. I think it went downhill on the second one, but personal opinion. Because
when I watched, so I can remember I went to the DVD shop and I got the first one, right? Yep. And like I watched it and I was like, fuck, I need to go get the rest. And the next day I took that one back and I got the other two.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how good the first one was.
Yeah, the first one was excellent.
Yeah, the Scandinavian
one.
But
then the second and third were also really good. So, yeah, really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Really enjoyable story, really great acting, awesome production.
Yeah. So how's it going with Homeland? How far are you?
Not far at all. I just hit the first episode so far, but it's
Yeah, I'm.
I like. Although many people find Carrie very irritating, I like that whole combo of Carrie and Soul.
Yeah.
I think.
Look, I mean, she plays that character very, very well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I mean, she is a woman with mental health problems that clouds her judgment.
Yep.
But her instincts are right.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, so I'm up to date there. I'm busy watching on Hulu, and I'm up to date there. The next episode's coming out tomorrow night.
So what would you say? Would you say it's
rock solid? It's good. Yeah. Remember, I said to you, I'd got to episode 2, and I was like, how are they going to play this out? How are they going to make it that it's going to be any different to the previous seasons? Because like for instance, like you'll have a good series, and it eventually. They keep on trying the same formula, and eventually it gets old. This is definitely it's very, very good. The story is very good. Yeah. So I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait for the next episode. And I'm also watching Bill.
Is it the last one? Is it the series finale or like?
No, I think. I can't check here because I don't know. Maybe I can check here on Hulu.
So what are they on now? They're like on 7 or 8?
No, I think they are. I think I watched up to 8.
Okay.
So I think I see there's 9 and 10. So I suppose there's another 2 episodes. Let me just check here. I'll see how far I've watched. So I'm also watching Billions at the moment.
Is it also quite good?
Yeah, I love Billions. It's like almost like the new. It's like almost like Suits kind of quality, but different story. But
The following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Can you hear that?
Yep.
That's yeah, that's my so like we could create a series house watching party together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you know when it works well with like a horror show.
No, fuck, I don't watch horrors.
You like horror movies?
No, I don't like horror movies.
I love horror movies.
No. I did when I was a kid, but no, I can do without that shit in my life.
I like watching horror movies. But
No, dude, there's enough real life horror stuff going on already. All you got to do is watch some of the documentaries on Netflix. You know, everyone's talking about this. What's this? Tiger King or whatever it is. Have you heard about this?
No. What is it called?
I think it's called Tiger King, or King Tiger, or something.
Okay.
So Netflix, Tiger
King.
Yeah, Tiger King. So everyone's talking about this, and I don't know. I don't know if I can bring myself to watch it.
That looks interesting.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm really waiting for in terms of like Netflix releases? I think it is Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's another series that I fall into and fall out of because I don't know, like I'll watch an episode that freaks me out and then I've got to say, oh no, fuck, I can't watch this anymore. And then a couple of months later, I'll be like, I need something to watch, and then I'll watch Black Mirror.
I thought Black Mirror is amazing. It's like
No, it's very good. It's very good. But
I think a lot of the episodes, because they're touching on different aspects
of society.
And how
Yeah.
technology actually affects society at large and basically these individual characters. I think it's absolutely really well made. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. No,
I don't know
do.
if you remember this this episode of Black Mirror called White Christmas.
I don't think I watched that one. What season was that in? Can you remember?
I think it was season 3 or 4.
Right.
Yeah, it's about this device that they have implanted in everyone's head that allows you to basically go into their subconscious and recreate a scene, and they use it for investigative purposes. And like in the future, if you basically did something wrong or basically found guilty of a crime, they will basically blank you out from everyone's vision to society. So all you see is just like a gray shadow passing through.
Oh.
And nobody can see you.
No, that's freaky, yeah.
That's...
No, like you worry. You see, that's why sometimes I can't watch that stuff because like freaks me out a bit.
It's so realistic because it's like real storyline, real people. It's just throwing some take at it and see how things changes.
Yeah.
But a lot of I'm patiently waiting for their next release.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
It's got an element of horror to it as well, because it's like some of the stuff that they touch on. It's like seriously scary stuff.
Yeah, no, I watched that one about where this mother has this device planted into her daughter when she's born.
Yeah, it's called Archangel.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, you just think about. Like you think, I'd love to have this device so I can track my kid and for safety reasons. Yeah. But then all of a sudden she's like checking in on her, and then she sees her taking drugs and being intimate with some guy, and and eventually the daughter runs away. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, like those kind of episodes like freak me out a bit because like you think as a parent, like I'm thinking, okay, you know, I want to be able to have access to my daughter's cell phone but not to check up on her, but just to make sure that she's safe and be able to track her where she is, or you know, if she goes out with her friends and you know, like
But
you just want to.
that's the next level up because like I think in that TV show that device basically allowed the mother to actually monitor all the daughter's vitals, able
Yeah,
to connect
and like actually see what she's seeing.
and see what she's
Yeah,
seeing.
yeah.
So,
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is like as technology is now, I can install an application on my daughter's phone.
yeah,
I can read all her messages. I can see everything.
yeah,
The only thing that I can't see is what she's seeing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But, you know, like there's a very, very small gap between what I can do now and what that show was showing off. Because, I mean, the whole concept of being able to, okay, you might not be able to see what she sees, but you can be reading all her conversations that she's having with all her friends and all the pictures and videos and all that she's sending.
mm-hmm.
That's like scary, dude.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but I think eventually it will evolve to more than just being able to access your kids' devices.
no, but that's the point.
Eventually, it will evolve to being able to access real time position.
Yeah, exactly.
Updates
No,
on your
exactly.
kids, their
Exactly.
vital information streamed in real time to an application. Maybe you won't be able to see what they're seeing, but yeah.
No, that'll come, dude. That'll come because I went down a bit of a
You know what's scary? What's scary? Can you imagine instead of setting a parental controls on your kid's device, like setting parental controls on their brain in terms of like what they can see and what they can hear versus what they can't.
oh yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. No, listen, dude. Technology. I mean, just think about how the way that technology's changed now.
Yeah.
The things that you can do that you couldn't be able to do before. I mean, just in terms of and I say spying, but I mean recording conversations, videoing stuff, tracking people's location and all that kind of thing. I mean, like if you've got access to your partner's Gmail account, and they're hooked up with Android and they're using Google Maps and all that kind of stuff, you can track them all of the time.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, okay.
So, talking about the lockdown, but not actually about the lockdown. So a lot of the countries instituted like image and cell phone tracking tech to actually do location and contact tracing.
Yes.
I know Israel is one of them. I know Russia is most likely another one, and I think China. Especially now around the big cities, they have a huge network of cameras tied into the facial recognition neural net that you'll be able to real-time trace who this person went to, who that person interacted with. And the same thing, I think it was South Korea, that's the way that they've approached contact tracing as well. So they basically pulled up everyone's location data and messaged everyone that was in contact with this person. It's like, hey, you need to go into self-isolation for the next 2 weeks. But this is the tech that we're living with now. Can you imagine like 10 years down the line?
But
once you really throw artificial learning and leverage and synergies between different neural nets, going to be living in a different world.
Yeah, I think the day that you can connect your brain to the internet, that's when you're going to see a fundamental change on how the world operates, along with many other things.
Like all Elon Musk working on that Neuralink.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm like,
would you hook up your brain to the net? Like on this question, like we can revisit this conversation 10 years down the line, but would you consider hooking up your brain to the net? Let's say to the clean version of the net.
What, like to the dark web?
Not to the dark web, no.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Hey, but I mean, even it just, I think what's more scary for me is I can make a decision on whether to hook my brain up to the internet or not. Okay, right. But if you think about the kind of things that we're doing slowly but surely, and you're not, and they're small incremental changes that you don't think about. But when you take all these incremental changes and you put them together, then you realize, there's a problem. And even though I won't connect my brain to the internet, let's say I make that decision not to do that.
Yeah.
The problem is that everything around me can infer a lot of what's going on in my life. If you know what I mean. Sure. So my first thought, okay, maybe I didn't clarify that. My first thought is, okay, so I connect myself to the internet. What can they, whoever they is, what can they do with that? Not like, okay, what can I do with it? Oh, okay, I can do a Google search in my head kind of thing.
Yeah.
As an example. Okay. Or, I want to learn something new. Okay, I can access it via my brain on the internet. Okay, that's fine. What can they do? Who can hack into my brain to, like, marketing? Like, we take how Google and other companies are using big data to predict our shopping patterns, as an example. Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, now I'm connected to the internet. What can they do with that information that they're getting from my brain? Or I'm thinking about stuff and it's bleeding onto the internet, and someone's hooking that up and using that to whatever. Okay. So I say, I don't want to connect to the internet because of that. Right.
What if you don't have a choice?
Okay. Well, before we go there to not having a choice, my biggest concern is the situation where you don't, and I suppose this comes to your question about, okay, what if you didn't have a choice? Well, like now I've got to a point where I've given away my choice to a lot of things that are happening in the world at the moment in tech, like Google Maps, like Facebook, like Instagram, like Takealot, Amazon, all those kind of things. Those people are using my habits to predict my next move, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, even though I might consciously say I'm not going to hook myself up to the internet, but there are so many devices that I've introduced into my life, or that we can introduce into our lives, that could predict the kind of stuff that I'm worried about them predicting, even though I'm not connected to the internet, physically connected to the internet. I mean, like, people that are putting, like, I was thinking that, I mean, and I know, I mean, I've got my cell phone, and I have this conversation often about Google listening to us and Instagram listening to us. And, I've been able to prove that they're doing it on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
And like, people are bringing, like, Google Home into their house, and Amazon Alexa. And anyone that's ever listening to this and I say, hey, Alexa, your Alexa's just gone wild. You just introduced a listening device into your house.
Yeah.
You got no control over that. But you decided to put that widget on your desk, in your lounge, in your kitchen, whatever. Yeah. So that's what scares me more, is about the devices that you could collate the information from and you can triangulate stuff. That scares me more, because I don't think remember the session we had at work where the guy came in and was talking to us about the things that you can do on the dark web?
Yeah, Wolfpack. Guys from the Wolfpack, yeah.
Holy shit, dude. And I think you and I...
Properly scary stuff.
Yeah, and I think you and I are pretty aware of what's out there and what can be done and that kind of stuff. Imagine people that were sitting in there that are not that tech savvy
Yeah.
and didn't realize that all this stuff is possible.
Can I be honest with you? It scared me, and I've learned something from that presentation in terms of everything that he covered. Because I think tech is constantly evolving, and the dark space associated with tech is also constantly evolving. It's not standing still. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty scary. But like, what I wanted to say is that, what if you don't have a choice? The reason why we make decisions about introducing these technologies into our lives is trade-offs. It's never just a clear-cut case. It's about trade-off. For example, like you saying, what about being plugged into the net? But what if that's going to be the only way that you could do work?
Yeah.
What if having Alexa or Google Home in your house is highly beneficial for your safety in terms of it centralizes all the feeds, all the sensors around your house, and basically, if anything goes down, you don't need to activate your alarm anymore. It will automatically detect when something is not normal, and then call.
No, absolutely. But
So it's like it's about trade-off. What about not just safety and security, but overall monitoring your health? I mean, we're wearing these devices,
oh yeah,
constantly monitor our health and constantly syncing data about what's our heart rate, our pulse, how intensive, and when we do these exercises, and all that information is getting pumped into some sort of
database
that's
big data
stored and
system.
analyzed.
Well, but I mean, that's the thing is like, who owns the data and what are they allowed to do with it? And like you say, the benefits are, I've got this gadget in my house. It's going to increase my safety.
Yeah.
So there's a trade-off because I don't know what they're going to do with that information. How do I have control over that?
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's a big discussion now. But I mean, to answer the question, I would be very reluctant to plug myself into the internet.
But you already plugged into the internet.
No, well, you know what I mean, like hardwired into the internet.
Yeah. So what's your concern in terms of like what information?
I just think, just going back to all the devices around me, I think although I'll admit I don't practice it, I have control over what I'm accepting into my space.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you're hardwired into the internet, well, you've just hooked it in there. I can unplug it, maybe. I don't know. If it's a implant and you don't have the ability to turn it on and off, I don't know. Fuck, dude.
Okay, let's have a baseline, right? So at the moment, with all the devices around us, companies and governments and whoever can collect information about what we say, where we are, what we're doing, etc., etc., etc. I think the scariest thing about being permanently plugged in is that people can actually start analyzing your thoughts.
But that's my problem. That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
And but then what I said, for me, the scariest thing is the fact that there are devices around me that I've already allowed incrementally. I've allowed them into my space. That when you put them together, they can almost infer that kind of stuff already. They might not. So their probability would probably be 75%. I hardwire myself into the internet now. I've just bumped that up to 95%.
Yeah, for sure.
As an example,
Yeah.
That's my concern. So it's so funny. We're coming up for an hour, so the Instagram live feed is going to die.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden, we've got one or two people that have joined. Nick Elliott, who is actually the cousin of one of my best friends from Woodbank. Hey, Nick, how's it going? Hope the lockdown's going well for you. And Kev as well from Pretoria. And he's also just joined. So what I'm going to do is the live feed's going to die, but then I'm going to see if I can restart it. And I'm just going to keep the YouTube live going. I don't know if you want to chat for a bit longer.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool, man.
Grab some coffee quick.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to be back now. Live feed's going to die on Instagram. I'm going to restart it. The Russian bear is going to go get himself some coffee.
I need some more coffee.
Okay, go for it, dude.
Caffeine in my system.
I'll do the tech stuff. You go get the comfort stuff.
Awesome.
Cool. Okay, guys, don't go away. You guys on Instagram, stick around, dudes. Stick around. Or come back. Come back. Okay, yeah, and go get a cup of coffee. Nick, Kev. Right, so we're going to do Weekend Craic episode 2, part 2, shortly. Okay, I just want to see here. I'm going to stop streaming.
And we're back.
Are you back? I'm just trying to see what's happening here with the... okay, right. It looks like the live stream died on Instagram.
On Instagram and on...
I don't know. It says it's still... even though I've said stop streaming on this side, it seems like it's still live. That is so weird. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kill the yellow duck thing, save and finish, right? Okay. Okay, so we're still live on YouTube. I'm just trying to sort out the Instagram thing because Instagram's got a 1 hour limit. So I'm going to just log in here again. What's my password? It is don't ever read your password out as you're writing it, especially if you're in a live stream.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because then you'll have to change a lot of passwords.
So, I mean, have you ever had those moments where you forget that you're online?
Yep.
And that you've got to be conscious about what you're broadcasting out there. I saw because I mean, with this whole lockdown, there's lots of things lots of memes and TikTok and all that kind of stuff that's coming out. So I see there's this one, and this guy's doing like an update, updating his mates. He's doing like a live, and in the background on his PC monitor, he's watching some porn channel.
You joking?
No, I think it was a meme.
Okay.
I mean, it was done on intentionally, but I mean, it just reminds you about how that kind of stuff can.
Well, somebody sent me a clip of like an actual business meeting. It wasn't a meme for sure in the UK, and there was like 16 people on the call. Some people have cameras, some people not.
Yeah.
And you can see people are trying to work from home. And then one of the ladies goes to the bathroom, takes her cell phone, but she forgets that her camera is on.
Just, dude. No, that's the problem, man.
And everyone sitting there is like...
Yeah, no, that's the problem, man. Okay, I'm just trying to sort out the tech here.
Really careful.
Yeah, no, you have to. Okay. I just want to check that we're back live on the live stream. Yes, we are. So we're back live. Hopefully my two friends. Nick, thank you for joining, dude. Good to see you back, man. Hope you got your cup of coffee there. Yeah. So before I started the live stream again on Instagram, we were just chatting about what are the potential silly things you could do while you are broadcasting your life out to the world, and you happen to make a mistake. And like for instance, like now I'm on this live stream. Am I actually wearing any pants? Imagine if I got up, I've just got my t-shirt on and I'm in the neck, and I said, I'm just getting up to go get myself some coffee. You get yourself into some trouble. Huh?
Yeah. Once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've got old Nick Elliott on the live stream on Instagram. So Nick is he's in the catering business, and obviously we're not going to talk too much about the crackdown. But he's got a gimbal like mine, and I met up with him the other day. We were bartering some stuff, and I saw that he had a gimbal like mine. And he's been using it extensively recently. He posted a video the other day. He was making some food, and I thought, shit, man, I don't use my gimbal enough. So I need to, now that I've got myself a new PC and I can actually do some proper video editing, I need to get back into the routine of recording, videoing stuff. Because, hey, listen, dude, are you using your GoPro? How much are you using your GoPro?
Not that much.
Not that much, eh?
Yeah. Just use my cell phone a lot because I always have my cell phone with me. So I'm basically trying to play around with more advanced features.
Yeah.
On my cell phone.
Yeah.
Hopefully after lockdown is over, I can get an upgrade, bump myself up to the S10 probably.
What on phone wise? Phone wise. Yeah. So you said when you were in Canada, you went to go check out the Samsung S20.
That thing is amazing, but I think it's going to be insane. I think it's going to cost more than my computer, so it's going to most likely retail for about 20 grand.
No, dude, it's 28,000 rand.
You joking?
28,000 bucks, dude. 28,000 rand, dude. Wow. My S9 Plus, I think, was 17. Yeah, that's going to be. So I'm due for an upgrade August this year.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if I'm going to be able to get the S20 Ultra. On my current contract, I doubt it. I might take a knock and stick around with my S9 for a couple of months longer, just so that I can get the S20 Ultra. I mean,
what's the S20 Ultra?
Well, that's the one that's got the 108 megapixel camera.
Wow,
and the
insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. So
yeah.
Like, do you think on some stage the whole cell phone camera business is going to kill off the SLR space?
No, I don't think it ever will. Okay. Never say never. I think cell phone cameras been around long enough, and they've been good enough. Like the iPhone probably was the one that forged the path there. They've been good enough for quite a while.
Yep.
I don't think that they've made a significant dent into the digital camera, SLR camera, mirrorless camera market. Maybe there has been a bit of an impact, but I don't think it's been enough to knock them off their feet or anything like that. Okay. Look, dude, guys are buying cameras. They're dropping 30 grand just on the camera body, right?
Yeah.
So I think look, I mean, for me, as a person that's taking the odd photo here and there, I think my camera on my phone is good enough. I've got a SLR camera. I've got a Nikon D3100 that I bought probably almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 years ago now. About 8 or 9 years ago. I hardly ever use that camera. But when I do, and refresh myself on setting the thing on manual and all that kind of stuff, dude, I'm amazed at the kind of photos I can take with that camera when you know what you're doing and you've taken it off auto and you're playing around with the settings, but you need to know what you're doing. And I do it infrequently enough so that the next time I do it, I can't even remember. If you know what I mean, it takes a while to get back into, okay, what settings must I have there, aperture settings and shutter settings and all that for the particular situation. Like you take someone like Richard Harper, Ride Motors Take Photos, shout out there. I mean, I don't think he would ever be able to do what he does with the cell phone.
I think it's a matter of time, really.
No, we see the problem there is it's about the sensor size.
Yeah.
Right. So if you look at the cameras on the phones, they're using other technology to get the same effect. So maybe they'll get there, but it's not a purist kind of thing. I mean, if you take Richard's photos over the last couple of years, he's perfected his technique and also his settings that he has while he's riding his bike to be able to take awesome photos of guys while they're riding their motorcycles. He would never be able to do that I don't think he'd ever be able to do that with a cell phone. But also the practicality of holding a cell phone while you're riding a motorbike versus having your camera on a strap and being able to pull it out and take a photo. I mean, have you ever tried to control a cell phone while you're riding a motorcycle? Okay, you have. Actually, you have, because you got an automatic motorcycle.
Yeah.
I can remember. Can you remember this? Driving through Durhamfontein, Maboneng, on your motorcycle at what? 7 o'clock on a Friday night?
No, it was later. It was about 8.
Okay, 8 o'clock on a Friday night. We were lost, and you were directing us with your Google phone, man, or Google Maps on your phone. I just want to see what Nick says here. Nick says each will have their markets. Yeah, on the camera side, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Electric cars will never kill the combustion engines, but there are pros and cons. I will definitely agree with Nick there, and Nick is talking from experience because he has got an AC Cobra replica. Just correct me if I'm wrong there, Nick. He's awesome car, dude. You must hear the sound of this car. We'll when the lockdown's over, we'll hook up with Nick and he can bring his car around and we can have a look at it and listen to what it sounds like. It's fucking awesome, dude. Fucking awesome. It's like almost like in, the same sort of, situation like with Lorraine with his Barracuda. Yeah. You park that in the parking lot and everyone is fucking looking and drooling. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think electric vehicles are going to become more mainstream, and I think it's going to be driven by economics. At the moment, the oil price is basically hitting the lowest ever because of the whole oil war between Saudi and Russia. And Saudi basically just opened up the taps, said, I'm going to pump as much as possible. Nobody can beat us on price.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We're sort of in a bubble, and once that bubble bursts, oil prices will skyrocket, and it will become a matter of economics.
No, fair enough. But let's be honest. Currently, the electric and hybrid technology is very expensive, and
not everywhere. In the US, what does Tesla Model 3 retail at? Like $7,000?
Yeah, but
it's a regular Japanese. It's the same price as a regular Japanese sedan.
Yes. But to compare apples with apples, you've got to look at what is the price of that vehicle in South Africa.
Oh, for sure. In South Africa, we're going to be behind the curve in terms of when that tech is going to get here. But it's inevitable that it's...
No, but what I'm saying is that, we don't have the Teslas in South Africa, but we definitely got the Lexus hybrids. We've got the Toyota hybrids.
Oh, there's tons of hybrids on the road.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Electric.
And the cost of that tech, the cost of those vehicles is a lot higher
for sure.
when you're comparing apples with apples in terms of size and whatever. The technology is expensive.
But look, we're going to follow mainstream.
Yeah, the Nissan Leaf. Oh, Nick is talking about the Nissan Leaf. I haven't seen the new shape Nissan Leaf. The only problem is that when they designed these hybrid cars, I don't know what they did when they were thinking about the design. They made them look so futuristic and in some cases not the most attractive cars.
BMW i3,
yeah,
them on the road.
Yeah,
But
I can't decide which insect it reminds me of.
That vehicle basically is like over $500,000, so it's like on a price way.
$500,000?
$500,000.
No,
maybe
dude.
600K.
No, the entry level hybrid car for Lexus is 620, 650.
Yeah.
Right.
i3 I think is about 600K last time I checked.
Okay. Let's check here. BMW i3. But that's full electric, right?
It's fully electric, yeah.
Yeah. It asks me, do I want to buy now?
Yeah, you want to buy now, right now.
Dude, you've got to see this, right? So this is I'm on the BMW website, and the picture that they've got there is drive to feel the thrill. They've got a link, get in and feel the energy, and they've got a picture of a Valiant.
I need to have a look at this. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll send you the link in WhatsApp. Dude, you got to check this out.
No, the screen that I'm on is inspired by the future, built for the present.
Is that the one I'm looking at? Let's just see here. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
but scroll down and it says get in and feel the energy.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's a Valiant.
Yeah, that's Valiant.
That's funny. Okay, where's the price of this? Where's the price of this bagger? I'm also interested. I've never looked at the price of the i3.
List and brochure, I think. Download the price list.
Well, next is I must have a look at the. I've seen the Porsche electric car. What's the Porsche?
So the starting prices for the 120AH is 664.
Yeah. So it's more than $500,000, dude.
Yeah.
So what's the most expensive one there?
The most expensive model is i3S, 120AH REX at 800,000.
Okay. Yeah. So this Porsche Taycan, which is the so is this a hybrid or is it a full electric?
No, it's fully electric.
No, I'm talking about the Porsche Taycan. Is that how you pronounce it, Taycan? Oh, it's an all electric vehicle. But it's funny, they've got a model. Okay, so this is the Porsche Mission E. That was their project name for it. Yeah, very interesting, dude.
So just
talking
about the fuel prices, right?
Yeah.
You saw that the oil, I think, breached below $20 per barrel.
Yeah.
Let me actually check the oil price.
Hey, so old Nick on Instagram. So I've just checked out. You're right. There are 4 models for the Porsche. The top of the range, which is the Turbo S, which is quite weird because they've still got the turbo badge on a full electric car. Is that right? Yeah, but it's pushing out 560 kilowatts. Yeah,
that's insane.
But I'm very disappointed that they say the top speed is only 260. It's got a shitload of torque. It's got 1,000 Newton meters of torque. Hey?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. So it goes 0 to 100 in like 2.8 seconds. Lovely. So I suppose in a way that's the attraction of the whole electric thing, is that you get this immediate, instant torque. Yeah, Nick, I'll go watch that video on the launch control. Nick's saying I must have a look at the YouTube video of its launch control. I'll go have a look at that after the live stream. So going back to the i3, dude, I'm still trying to work out what insect it reminds me of. Because, I mean, a lot of the electric vehicles up until now, I wouldn't say that their design has been the most attractive.
Look, I think one of the best designs is definitely coming from Tesla, and I saw a lot of Teslas in Canada.
Yeah, so did I. Hey,
yeah.
But I also saw lots of Dodges as well.
Yeah.
SRTs.
Yeah. They love them big trucks.
Oh man, that's such. No, listen, dude. I think that's such a cool car. Like, so Loren was telling me that if he was to buy, one of those American muscle cars, that would be the one that he would.
Dodge SRT.
Yeah.
I'll still stick with the Mustang.
Yeah, look, I mean, I like the Mustang, but I mean, you've seen the Dodge Challenger.
Yeah.
Was it the Dodge Charger? I can never remember. I always
Dodge
get them
Charger,
mixed
I
up.
think.
Well, there are two models. There's one which is the Charger, and then there's the one that is the Challenger. I'll just check here. Yeah, so the Charger is not the one that I'm talking about.
The Challenger.
I don't know. Is it the Challenger? I'm getting myself. Yeah, the Challenger. Hellcat. Hellcat, yes, that's right. It's the Hellcat. Challenger SRT Hellcat.
Yep.
It's a 6.2 liter Hemi V8 engine. 717 horsepower. Yeah, but then you also get the Hellcat Red Eye, which is, yes. But I mean, dude, this is like $71,000 US.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then you get the Demon as well. Let me just check this. Hellcat Challenger Demon. Is that right? So this is Nick is prompting me here. Oh yes.
But Tesla is your name.
Tesla is my name. Fuck. You see now this so the Hellcat can go from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3.4 seconds. The Demon does it in 2.3 seconds. Holy shit.
Yep.
Okay, now Nick is prompting me here. He says I must look. I've never heard of this. The Jeep Track Hawk. Does that sound familiar? Have you ever heard of that? All right. It's like it's a Grand Cherokee. Sherbet. 0 to 100 in 3.7 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, that's pretty hectic. Yeah. Yeah, dude. If only $2.2 million, dude. 2.2 million rand for the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's Yeah. So you said you like the Mustang. Have you been to the Shelby garage in Bryanston?
No, I haven't.
So what they do is they do the Shelby conversions on the Mustang. So they take they get Ford Mustangs from Ford South Africa, and then they do the Shelby conversions on them, and they do a wide body Mustang. Let me tell you something, dude. That wide body Mustang looks awesome, man. Because the arse is a bit fatter than the stock standard one.
Okay. Well, we should take a breakfast ride there sometime on some stage.
Yeah. Okay, dude. So when the lockdown's done, what is the first motorcycles we're going to go test ride? We're going to do Triumph, eh?
Triumph, for sure.
Yeah.
That was always the plan. It just hasn't quite materialized.
Yeah, I know. The weather's always stuffing us around, and now it's the lockdown.
I was really keen to test drive the new Druxton. So
yeah, that's actually if there was if I was to buy a Triumph, I think that's a Triumph I would buy.
Yeah,
would be the Cafe Racer. I think that would fit very nicely in my collection.
Yeah,
that I'm gradually building.
No, that's awesome.
One bike at a time. Yeah, because I like the Cafe Racer thing, but I mean, you want to be able to. I don't think on a Cafe Racer kind of style bike. Like I don't know if I much rather use my GS for long trips. Yes, Straxton would be. So next asking you, do you guys know? Do you know guys that build awesome cafe races? Well, I know there are some guys around. I don't know them personally. I know Max Inc. in Krugersdorp is starting to look at building bikes, and I think he has done 1 or 2 cafe races already. There's another guy, Marnitz Fenter, who builds bikes. He's done some stuff. But in terms of deciding who the best guys are to go for cafe races, I'd have to ask around with my mates because I've never really been in the market for buying a cafe racer. I did at one stage think about taking my old 78 BM and converting that into a cafe racer, but I eventually decided to keep it original. But hey, Nick, I'll find out for you if you. Wow, you're in the market, Nick. Nick will answer me now. Dude, when are you getting yourself another bike or a new bike? Or not? Is that off the cards now?
No, it's still on the cards. Just need to.
Are you still thinking about getting a GS at some stage?
Yeah.
Or an adventure motorcycle?
I definitely want an adventure motorcycle. I'll still keep my Honda.
Yeah.
It's paid off, it's running well, and it's Honda, And,
yeah, so
yeah.
I think with the at least with the GS or at least with an adventure motorcycle, let me be a little bit more brand agnostic because I'm so biased towards BMW. It's not funny, and I admit that myself. Is that adventure motorcycle just gives you so much more flexibility in terms of doing trips with guys. Like if
especially
you
long trips.
Because look, I mean, you get, in my opinion, you get a good value for money in terms of what you can do with it. Like you say, you can do long trips. It's comfortable. You can load it up. When you get to the area that you want to be in, you can do dirt, you can do tar. It's versatile enough for that kind of stuff. Whereas, like if you're using another kind of bike, let's say like a Bonneville, I mean, guys are doing it. It's possible. It's not impossible to be doing these kind of trips. But I don't know. I just, again, I'm biased towards having an adventure motorcycle for those kind of trips, and then having my old BM for knocking around Joburg and doing breakfast runs and maybe having a cafe racer for that as well. Yeah.
The advantage with motorcycles, you can have a few.
Yeah. Well, it's cheaper than having a couple of cars.
Yeah, for sure.
I think cars cost a little bit more money to maintain and fix up and restore and modify and all that kind of stuff.
And the
So
space they take. Can you imagine having 4 vehicles?
yeah, you need garages, dude.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people use these storage facilities to park cars. Like a storage unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nick's asking. Well, here's something we can chat about. Nick's asking, what's the best bike to buy if you're not experienced, but that is still cool to ride?
It's definitely not 1 liter super bike.
And Oleg speaks from experience. But I mean, you had been riding bikes before that, so. But I mean,
Still, even if you have experience, don't get away.
Yeah, I have to admit that's one motorcycle that's not allowed in my garage is a super bike.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, what would be a good bike to start riding on that you wouldn't have to sell within the first 6 months or first year of riding a bike when you become experienced?
I think a lot of companies, especially a lot of Japanese companies, have like anything from 250 to like 400 or 500 cc.
Yeah.
Like street bikes.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are pretty cool, pretty awesome. I don't know if
but like, what sort of models are we talking? CBR
500. Essentially a street bike with super sports variant, but it's a street bike.
Yeah.
But it will definitely be able to.
But you've got to understand that someone like Nick, who drives a Cobra replica, he's got an MG.
Yeah.
That's his kind of style. He's like. I wouldn't imagine that a Japanese bike would tickle his fancy.
Oh, I like Jap bikes. I think Japanese bikes are really well made and have some really awesome tech on them.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't have what's a retro Japanese model that's got a retro bike? What
Well, Kawasaki and Yamaha have both like retro models, but the 900cc models, so 900 and 700cc models. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of power for somebody who's just starting out. I mean, Kawasaki's got a Z900 RS version, so that's basically their heritage range. It's a very nice bike, but it's a really powerful bike for somebody who's just climbing on the bike.
Yeah.
You can easily get into trouble. It does come optional with like ABS and traction control and all that stuff, but you should really think about starting out on a 250.
No.
400.
No.
Unless you go for like an old cafe racer.
Yeah, I think in my opinion,
Yeah.
one would outgrow a low capacity bike very quickly.
Not necessary.
No, well, dude, okay, let's be honest. If you're going to, I think riding a motorcycle is about confidence, right?
Yeah.
So the more your confidence grows, the more you're going to ride. The more you ride, the more the confidence. It's almost like a compound kind of situation, in my opinion. If you're into it and you're riding, often you build your confidence very, very quickly, very, very quickly. And I think you would outgrow. No, well, the thing is, like, if you get yourself a 400cc, okay, let's assume that that's a good place to start. You'll sell that bike in the first year, or you'll have to sell that bike in the first year.
No. Do you remember I had a 500cc Haisung?
I thought it was a 650.
No, I think it was 500.
No, it was a 650. It had a 650 Suzuki engine in it.
Yeah, but it was like, I think it was down-tuned, like heavy.
No, fair enough.
Down-tuned.
Fair enough.
So
fair enough.
It was like really slow, street bike. I was riding that bike comfortably and.
No, but what I'm saying is, right.
For, I think 2 years, maybe 2.5 years before I got a super bike, and that
Sure.
was like.
But I mean, you went from the Haisung, whatever it was called, you went to the Honda.
Yeah.
Then you bought the super bike and kept the Honda,
Yeah.
and then got rid of the super bike. Okay, but just hear me out here. Okay, think about the kind of people that we ride with. Okay.
Yep.
So you buy yourself a bike, you buy yourself a 400 or a 500cc, you ride it on a regular basis, knocking around town, building your confidence up. Your mates that you're hanging with, so don't forget that Nick is also in a band, and the guys that he's in the band with, they also ride bikes, and all of a sudden you are now hanging with those guys, and now you want to go for a bike ride with them, a breakfast run. But they riding Triumphs and Harleys, 900, 1200cc. You're not going to keep up with them.
But I'm sure those guys have been riding Triumphs and Harleys for like a long time.
No, but I mean, in terms of you on your 500cc motorcycle riding with them, you're not going to keep up with them.
Most likely won't. I mean, even like myself on the 700cc Honda, I won't be able to keep up with even 600 super bikes, it's a different range,
No, I understand that, but that's what I'm saying is that
you on a 1200.
Yeah,
if you 1200 once you open up.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If you're looking at a long-term view, you want to buy a motorcycle. It's not like a phase that you're going through. You want to buy yourself a nice. Okay, this is a checklist. The bike's got to be low enough capacity to if you're learning. Okay, so you're not going to kill yourself in the first week or month. That you're not going to outgrow the bike.
Factor.
Yeah,
That's the most important factor for
but
me. Everything else takes a secondary place.
Sure, but you also don't, because remember, and I mean this is my view as well, is that a lower powered motorcycle like a 250cc, in my opinion, is dangerous.
No, it's
in
not.
traffic. No, because
250cc, you can still out accelerate most vehicles.
yeah, no, fair enough, but not fast enough, in my opinion. But that's
You'll
just
be
my
able to
opinion.
out accelerate most vehicles from the start.
Sure.
Know? And the bike is thin enough for you to
Sure.
use the traffic quite comfortably.
Yeah,
So
sure.
the biggest thing, right, when you're buying a motorcycle for me is that you need to understand that you can drop your bike most likely more than once, which will result in either you wrecking it, right? So if you get a bike, get a cheapish bike that you can, if you completely wreck it, you can basically just take it to scrap and say, okay, I'm gonna get another one.
Yeah, I wouldn't start with that idea in mind. But anyway.
No, like when I started on a high song, right, I dropped the bike, right? I dropped the bike several times, sometimes in ridiculous circumstances,
Sure.
So you will drop it, you'll scratch the body, you most likely drop it so often that you won't be able to keep up with with polishing, repairs, and replacement with all the parts that are scratched out.
Yeah.
So the first bike that you're going to get is not the bike that you're going to end up with. And it's a good idea to start on a slow bike because you will get into trouble. Like as you start pushing your boundaries, you will get into trouble. I mean, I got into trouble.
Well,
and then you get to the stage where you feel that you're confident enough and you can tackle it, and then you basically jump on a super bike and you realize that you're not such a hot shot.
No, I agree with it. But the thing is, if I was to buy a bike, if I was to start again, and let's say I had never ridden before, I would always want to buy a bike that I'm not going to outgrow too quickly. And my recommendation would be you go and you buy yourself a 900cc Triumph Bonneville, or a street twin or something like that. I've seen lots of people start with those bikes as their first bike.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good. It's not too powerful, but it's powerful enough that you're not going to outgrow it in the first year, and it's not too expensive. You can pick them up secondhand pretty easily, and I think it's a good mix between a whole lot of factors. Oh, and
I agree. Look, the Bonneville range looks slow enough in order for you to actually build the confidence on that bike, and it looks comfortable enough and ergonomic enough to actually, comfortably ride it. Yeah.
But I tell you what,
I would agree.
I would
go as slow as possible, because you need to understand, if you're starting to ride when you're 18 or 20, and you're starting to ride when you're 40 or 50, your reflexes are not as quick, and your reflexes on a motorcycle count.
Yeah, I think all of that stuff comes into play. I think there's a point at which I think when you're young, there are two young guys that live next door to me. I think they're probably 20, 21.
Yeah.
And what's the first bike that the guy buys?
Ducati?
R1. R1. And
yeah, that's insanity, man.
But that's what I'm saying is, from an age point of view, your reflexes might be there, but your fucking common sense isn't.
But you need to understand that R1 is essentially a track super bike with some turn signals strapped on them.
No, of course.
It's once you go into that range, right? You need to make a decision. You're either gonna race it on the track, or you're just going to occasionally take it on the road, and you have a really good self-control, right? I didn't. I don't have a good self-control. That's the reason why I sold it, because once I climbed into superbike, the temptation of just opening up the throttle was too big.
No, I agree. I mean, and that's why I will never have a superbike in my garage, because I enjoy going and test riding one, and having getting that little bit of adrenaline rush.
I mean, do you remember when we climbed onto the R6, right? And I told you, don't forget this bike.
Ah, jeez, dude. Don't forget it don't have ABS brakes. Yeah. I don't know.
It was such a cool hill, but I totally didn't expect that traffic light to be there.
To come, yeah.
As I come around, I was opening it up. I was leaning into the corner, and I was as I come over, the traffic light is just there 20 meters. I'm there's no way I'm stopping.
Dude, I think 6 years later, that fucking that stripe is still on that road.
Yeah.
Yeah. But listen, look, I mean, another good bike to start with is a Harley. And the reason why I say that is because it's got a very, very low center of gravity.
Yeah, but it's like starting on the couch. I mean, like, I think if you want to start on a Harley, you need to be into the whole Harley like lifestyle and image. I don't know. It's not for me. Like,
Yeah, well,
wouldn't
it
start on a
wasn't.
Harley.
But I mean, I've told you the story about me riding my first Harley, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've always been anti-Harley because I see it as a rattle trap and it's going to rattle and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And some years ago, a friend of mine, Hugh, bought a street bob for his wife and she was learning how to ride. That was her first bike that she was learning to ride on. And she was still busy learning how to ride and she wasn't riding it a lot. So he wanted to take it out, open up, you know, clear out the jets kind of thing. So he invited me to come along and I said, okay, that's fine. I'll ride that bike. It's not a problem. Dude, it was the most amazing experience ever.
Really?
And ever since then, I'm definitely going to buy myself a Harley and I'm definitely going to buy, I'm still set on buying myself a street bob because there's just something about it. I've ridden that model more than once. And at various times, I mean, we even I test rode one of those at Harley that time that we went to test ride bikes.
I remember, yeah.
And I'm still set on that. Yeah, definitely. But the bottom line is you've got to have all the right stuff on it. You've got to have the right forward controls, in my opinion. You also need to have decent pipes on there. Nick, you'll know about having good pipes on your motor vehicle or your motorcycle. So I mean, Lorenz, I was going to say stock standard Harley 1200 Sportster. Yeah, what an amazing bike to ride, dude.
Yep. No, I remember Lauren's bike.
Because the last time, because I've ridden it a couple of times, I'm always nervous about riding other people's bikes. Yeah. And, you know, like really, you know, I like try and ride within my limits when I'm riding someone else's bike.
Yeah.
Because, you know, obviously I don't want to damage it and all that. So what I realized, well, I've ridden his bike a couple of times now, so I'm a little bit more comfortable on it. I've got a feel for it. And the last time I was down in Cape Town, I went for a bike ride with him and he keeps on telling me that I must open it up. And I do open it up, but I don't, you know, like, I don't like burn it.
Yeah.
But the last time we were down in Cape Town, there's a stretch of road between Hout Bay and Llandudno. So I don't know if you know that area very well.
No, not very.
So if you're coming from Chapman's Peak side, you come into Hout Bay, you go down the hill, and then you drive through Hout Bay, and then you get to a traffic circle, and you take a left, and then you get to another traffic circle, and you hang a right, and then you go through a little bit of the suburbs, like shopping centres and whatever, and then you're on your way to Llandudno. And then there's like this stretch of road that goes straight, and then there's one or two traffic lights, but you've got a good section of road to flip and burn it before you get to that traffic light. And Loren's like, come on, dude, you got to open it up. Dude, I opened that thing up, and it was going, and then all of a sudden it went into hooligan mode.
Yeah.
Oh, my word, dude. You do not understand how much power that bike's got.
Yeah, I'm sure it's got a lot of power.
It's got a lot of low down torque,
but
then it gets to a point, and it switches over to hooligan mode. And when we stopped in Camps Bay at Tiger's Milk to go have a burger there. Mm-hmm. And when I got off the bike, I said to him, dude, now I fucking understand why you keep on telling me to open this bike up. Because it's like, it's a spiritual experience when it happens.
Okay.
No, it's unbelievable. Yeah, definitely. So Triumph Thruxton is definitely something that needs to be in my garage, and a Harley Street Bob.
stuff.
Good stuff. So I think the next time we go test ride Harleys, we are not going to go to Harley Davidson.
Where are we going to go to?
We're going to go to Easy Rider in just off Zambezi in Pretoria.
Okay.
Because he sells, the guy Trevor there, shout out to Trevor at Easy Rider, he sells secondhand Harleys.
Yep.
And
Already
so we can...
with all the exhausts and everything.
Oh, yeah. So it's got all the aftermarket mods and all that kind of stuff. Because that's the problem with Harley at the moment, is that their test bikes are stock standard.
Yep.
Which is, for me, is very underwhelming. Yeah. What are you busy looking up there?
I'm busy looking at like other alternatives for your friend Nick, but it looks like...
Yeah, so Nick was saying he was looking on Auto Trader. He had a look at a Harley Davidson Sportster 48, which is also a nice bike.
Yeah.
He said the price was $115,000, which is not too bad. But he says he also likes the Triumph Bobber. I don't know if you've seen that Bobber.
Yeah, Triumph Bobber is also pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and the nice thing is you can...
a second-hand deal on a Bobber.
there's a... you can... And the nice thing about that Bobber, you can do some serious, nice aftermarket mods to it.
Yeah.
And that thing, put different pipes on it. You can take the I think it's got a real wheel fairing on it. You can take that off. What else can you do? You can make some nice mods on that bike, and then it looks good and it sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah, I must admit, I also like that Triumph Bobber. If we go test ride bikes at Triumph, or not if, when we go test ride bikes at Triumph, I'm definitely taking that one for a spin.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The two bikes on my list is definitely the Bobber and Thruxton.
Thruxton, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually quite amazed at how well their Thruxton goes, because I was looking at the specs on their Thruxton, and it doesn't have that much more power than my 1200 GS, but it just seems to go so much better.
Yeah, I think it's smoother. The power delivery is smoother.
Yeah.
On the Thruxton. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think one day we'll do a ride out to Pretoria, and we'll go have breakfast at Oppie Place.
Yeah, I remember that place.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that place last night. I said, fuck, I need to go back there again. I need some lekker boere Afrikaans breakfast with pap and kinds. Yeah. And then we go through to Easy Rider and we go test ride some Harleys.
Sounds like a plan.
Shit, dude. Just please make sure that I leave my wallet at home.
I'll make sure you grab your wallet.
No. I tell you what, I'll take cash with me. I'll take enough cash for fuel and for breakfast, and that's it. Because, the last time I was at Easy Rider, I almost bought a bike.
You serious?
Yeah. I almost bought a 1200 Sportster. Almost.
So cool.
Almost.
So cool.
And it
I'll
was
make
like...
sure you'll grab your ID. I'll have a pen.
No.
Pen ready for you.
Fuck it.
So you could fill up all the paperwork.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if I bought a Harley?
Yeah.
I'd be in my fucking element.
All you need is your driver's license these days and a pen. That's all you need to get yourself into trouble.
Yeah. So Nick, if you're looking at a Triumph Bobber, I would say that's a good bike. Also, nice low center of gravity, easy to buy, easy to handle, and Harley is also a good place to start. So just in terms of advice, if you're getting into riding new bikes, or if you've never ridden bikes before, my suggestion or my advice is riding bikes is all about confidence. So the more you ride, the better you get. Choose when you're going to ride your bike and where you're going to ride it, so that you can avoid too much traffic. Because riding in traffic is another confidence thing, especially when it comes to lane splitting and all that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't recommend lane splitting in the beginning. Ride your bike as you're riding a car. Ride defensively. Riding your bike as if no one can see you. Always assume that they haven't seen you. Is the way to ride. I would also recommend going for bike training.
Absolutely.
So, and there are various levels. One would be the intro level. So I would spend the money. It's well worth spending the money on that. And don't do the intro level and then do it a little bit more advanced. Because you've done the one, did you do it at Geritech? Where did you do it? Are you still with me, Oleg?
Yeah. I did it at Geritech. I'm
Yeah.
just remembering. I did it.
What were you reading on your screen?
I did one at Geritech and I did one in another testing facility. So I did one with the 650 SV high swim, and I did one on my Fireblade, which was quite interesting because it's like I was the only dude on the superbike, and those low speed maneuvers on the superbike is just extra hard.
Yeah. But you know what I found quite interesting? I mean, I don't classify myself as a very experienced motorcycle rider.
You're pretty experienced.
In terms of time, I would say yes.
Yeah, you're pretty experienced.
I would say yes. I have not. I mean, look, I've done the off-road thing. I've done the sort of adventure motorcycling, and I would like to believe that I've got a fair amount of experience there, and that I don't do it often enough, and it takes me a while to get into the zone again when riding that, because it's a totally different mindset of when you're riding dirt in comparison to tar. But on tar, I'm not the guy that goes into the corners the fastest, because
we don't have bikes for that anymore. Well,
no, but I mean, listen, think about it.
Like,
No, but like when you get into the twisties, you go out to Sabi. There's some nice roads there. There's some twisties, and I saw that when I went on the Sabi bubble run in December.
Yep.
Is that I then realized how much better other people ride, how much better than the way I ride.
But it's not a competition.
No, it's not a competition. I'm just saying, what I'm saying is that I was benchmarking myself against people that are experienced riders, and I see how quickly they can go into a corner.
Yeah.
Right? So when you buy, okay, let me give you this comparison. When you buy yourself a sports car, right, it's not about the top speed the thrill is not in the top speed that you can do with that car. Right?
Yep.
It's about how fast you can go into the corner.
Yeah.
That's where the thrill is. Like you take your car to a track. You constantly what boundary are you constantly pushing? Is how quickly you can go into that corner and how quickly you can get out of that corner safely. Right? And it's the same thing with a motorcycle. I can buy myself a super bike, right? And the only thing that I do with that super bike is I get onto a straight piece of road and I clip 250, 260, 270, 300, whatever it might be, and get a thrill out of that. I'm not getting the full value out of that motorcycle.
No, you're not.
The full value of that motorcycle is when I start getting myself into those corners.
Yeah.
How deep can I go into the corner? So what I'm saying is I don't classify myself as an experienced motorcyclist when it comes to that kind of riding. And I don't think that I'm getting the full benefit or the full enjoyment of riding my motorcycle in those situations. And that's why I think I need to go and do that training that you did when you went with your Fireblade on the track. I need to go and do that with my GS. The only problem is I think I'll have to put some street tires on my GS to go and do that.
Yeah.
Or maybe I must do it with my Noblies, because those are the tires that I'm riding with all the time.
You're going to be at the back, very far at the back. If you call that, if you're just going to do everything a little bit slower.
No, well, the thing is,
because you don't have the traction to stick in the corner.
Well, yeah, no, but I suppose isn't that the point? The point is that I want to go to a controlled environment where I can take the bike that I ride the most, which is my GS, with the tires and the setup that it's got on it, and I want to take that into their test environment, and I want someone to teach me how to ride better with that bike, the way that it's set up. And yes, I might not be able to go into the corner as quickly as another bike that's got proper street tires on. But I want to be able to see where the limit is with my bike, so that when I go on the next ride to the Sabi bubble run, that I can get that enjoyment out of my bike, because I was a little bit reluctant to go into the corners too quickly because of the confidence wasn't there.
I think it's a good thing, right? I think it's different with a car, right? So the car comparison is good, but it's not very accurate. You need to understand that it will only take one mistake for you to seriously hurt yourself or kill yourself on the bike. Whereas you make a mistake in the car, yeah, you're going to ride off the car, you might hurt yourself, maybe seriously, maybe not, but the chances are slimmer. On the bike, if you misjudge the corner, especially on those roads in Sabi,
no, I understand that, but
you're in trouble. You're in serious trouble.
Yeah. No, the car comparison was just basically saying that where is the enjoyment?
Yeah.
The enjoyment is, is pushing your vehicle to your limits.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the limits of the vehicle, because I think it's your limits. But just basically what I'm saying is that I could get more enjoyment out of my motorcycle.
Yeah, for sure. I love riding.
If I was a little bit more experienced when it came to cornering.
I think you should definitely do a track course to get better at cornering. I wouldn't necessarily advise you to push your boundaries in cornering, because pushing boundaries is...
No, but that's how you get better. You've got to say...
Overrated.
Well, no, I'll tell you something. So, when we were on the Sabi bubble run, there's a guy that was with us. Barry. He used to be an instructor.
Yep.
Right. And he said to me, cool, dude, just 2 more minutes and we done, right? So he gave a couple of us some advice about cornering. And he was talking about, where do you look when you're looking through the corner? Yes, you look through the corner, and I generally do that. But he was telling us to look further. He was talking about where the two lines converge in the corner. Yeah. So like when you're going in the corner, and he was then telling us when to accelerate and when to not to accelerate. And dude, I tried that. And the first couple of times that you do it, you're very hesitant, because you're not confident, because you're pushing yourself beyond a certain limit. But the more I did it, the more I pushed myself to do it, the better it got and the easier it got. And I mean, it was probably one of the best pieces of advice that I've got in terms of my bike riding for a long time. Anyway, dude, we're coming up for 2 hours now.
We did well.
Not too shabby, Nige. It's Weekend Craic. Anyway, Nick, thanks so much for joining us, dude. I really appreciate it. Hope it wasn't too long-winded, and that you learned some stuff, and definitely we'll need to get you onto a bike sometime. Anyway, Oleg, thanks, dude. We'll check you later.
It's been awesome. It's nice catching up with you. Nice chatting to everyone. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah. Okay, dude. Do I have to play some outro music?
Absolutely.
Okay, cheers, dude.